Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist and I'm creating a video every day for a year, and this is video 247. Thank you so much for being here with me today or tonight, whenever you catch this. And I just did, another Taibo night video. So I'm calling it, Taibo night, I guess, from now on. I don't know. I just started doing this. I think it was Friday whenever the snowstorm was starting. And I literally have not worked out in a couple decades or so at night. I always work out in the morning. So my morning workout hasn't changed, but since I've been eating more, eating more snacks, fun snacks over the last few days, I was like, well, let's move. So something in me sparked on Friday, and that's why I started doing this. But I just wanted to point out that, man, I have never felt better. And I think I've just been sitting too much. And, of course, with my work, I have to sit. Which that's going to maybe change a little bit with some things I'm going to incorporate into sessions and my other side of my business. So, but I've always been a very active person. So sitting all day, it hurts our bodies, and I just wanted to pass it on that, remember, you need to oil up your body so you don't rust. The older you get, you got to oil yourself. So get up and move, every hour, make sure you're getting up and moving a little bit, stretching a little bit, because I've never seen so many people have chronic pain. And so we've just got to move. And remember that animals, how they shake whenever they're kind of getting rid of some stuck energy. That's basically what they're doing. They're shaking it off. And so like my cats, if I pick them up and they don't want to be held, they jump down and they shake. It's like, I'm shaking off the bad energy. So that's kind of what we need to do. Shaking is really good too. I'll save that for another video, but you can shake, you can dance, you can run, you can walk. Just do something to move, because we have what I heard is, other than loneliness, we have another big problem, which is just sitting too much. And it's really killing us. So get up and move. Remember, movement is medicine. It will help you so much in so many ways. And it helps mental health. So I look at everything like I want the best quality of life I can possibly have. And that starts from the inside out. So when we're talking about, of course, this channel, I started to talk about, manifestation in general. But I also want to incorporate fitness and mental health into all this. Because I also believe that if your fitness is good and your health is good and your habits are good, you're going to be able to manifest consciously so much easier than in your state of panic or anxiety or depression that you might live in. And so sometimes we have to go in the back door or in the side door to be able to get into the house. So that means we might have to do some things that we didn't think we needed to do in order to change our state. So remember, your internal state is created from your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions about everything. And I was talking to a client, I think it was yesterday, about emotions, and they said that they don't like to talk about emotions, which is like, well, that's kind of what we're here for, And so I thought about that later, and I thought, we need to discuss, just in general, how processing emotions, like why we need to know what emotions we're feeling and how important it is to gauge where you are and know why you felt that emotion, because you don't have a feeling or emotion unless there's a belief underneath it, some meaning that you've assigned to something. So if you don't know what, hear the word, play, come play with me. Let's go play. That might induce, oh, that's excitement. That sounds like fun. Let's go play. Let's have fun. If you know what the definition of play is. But if I gave you the word, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and you don't know what that means, you'd be like, what does that mean? There's no feeling underneath that. So there's always going to be a belief in something to induce a feeling. And so, and that could be debatable, I guess, too. What if the emotion starts first? I don't know. We've got to just become our own evidence. Remember, listen to what I say, but don't trust me. Just trust yourself and practice these things. Get to know yourself and just think about it. Did my feeling come first, or did my thought come first, or did my emotion come first? Just try to learn yourself a little bit and just kind of see what happens. But I thought it was interesting because it's so important to know how we're feeling and where that feeling came from. Because when we know that, we can control and more regulate, I guess. I don't want to use the word control. We can regulate ourselves to be able to shift our point of attraction to where we want it to go. So we've got to shift that frequency inside of us. So we're just made of energy, and everything that we believe today has come from the past. And I just basically look at it like I'm brand new every second. That's kind of how I look at things now. I'm brand new every second. I don't need to worry about 5 minutes ago. What if you don't need to worry about what happened 5 minutes ago? What if you especially don't need to worry about what happened 25 years ago? What if you can just drop all that? What if you could just drop that from your shoulders? Because a lot of us are carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. And I think that's why this particular person didn't want to talk about emotions, because they have been suppressing themselves. Not only do we suppress emotions, we're suppressing ourselves, like ourself. And so a lot of people I've heard say, they feel like they're going to just turn on the faucet and it's never going to turn off. And it's so not true. You just have to feel it. And instead of suppressing it. And yeah, you might cry. That's okay. You might get mad. That's okay. Feel the feelings. Know where they came from, though. That's the thing about it. We need to know the why, just so we know where to go next time. And there's a root there that we can rip out and rewire something better into where we have a better quality of life moving forward. So I think there's nothing better than working from the inside out versus, trying to get something externally and thinking, oh, that's going to change everything. It never, I promise you, it never does. I've had practically every, except for a child, but I've had instances where, I've been around a lot of children and that was fulfilling, but I've never had my own child like I've always wanted. But pretty much everything else that I ever wanted has pretty much come true. And I didn't keep all of it necessarily, but I've had the experiences. And I know that having those things and having that marriage and having all these things, that stuff does not make you happy. It just adds, I call it like the cherry on top. It's the icing on the cake. You don't need the icing. I mean, some people might, but you don't need the cherry on top or the sprinkles, but they're nice to have. And so if you can start to figure out how to regulate your emotions, which we can go deeper into that in videos moving forward, but if you can learn how to direct your thoughts where you want them to go, then you're going to have the best quality of life and you're going to feel so much peace inside. So that's what I'm going after, is internal peace. I want nothing more than that. And when you're steady in yourself like that, you're going to find that you're not so up and down anymore if you're ever experiencing that. That's all I ever hear is some people just, they're super happy for a little while and then something external happens. And it's like a never-ending pattern where they're up and down, up and down. And so to be at a baseline feeling of just peace and fulfillment and wholeness, there is nothing better than that. And I think that's when everything starts flowing in. And so, of course, I study The Science of Getting Rich every day. I read a page just every day to keep it fresh in my mind. And I'm on the page that talks about, doing your best in the environment you're in right now, no matter what. If you want to be in a completely different environment, a different job, a different place to live, with a different partner, even with a new partner, you can look at this in any sort of way. It doesn't have to be just about money. But it's like, do your best in the environment you're in while holding the vision of what you're wanting, and then not contradicting that with doubt. So that's the key. Just holding to your vision no matter what you're seeing around you. I think that's the hardest thing for us to do. But what if we started saying, well, it's easy for me to do that now. What if I can do that? So start asking those what if questions, like what if this is true? What if I could have everything I want? What if I am brand new every second? And then just do your best. And it also says do today's work, like get as much done as you can today. And whatever doesn't get done was not meant to be done. It'll happen tomorrow. Don't worry about it. And so we forget that everything is like enjoying the process. Getting there is the point. Bashar says that the process is the point. It's not the end. It's not the manifestation that we're wanting. Because once you get there, you're kind of there, and then you're going to want more things from there. You're going to be like, oh, I have this. Well, now I want this. So, which is totally fine, of course. But there's just nothing better than like enjoying that process, because I've had to teach myself too to like be very present and tell myself this right here, even this right now that I'm doing, this recording, I'm sitting at 836 subscribers. What if I do get to 1 million someday? So what if this is it right here? I don't even care if I get to the 1 million. What if doing this video right now, the process is it? And so that is helping me to kind of slow down too in my mind and think, oh, I need to be doing all these things and I need to be doing this differently and checking and making sure I'm doing this. That's not even it. It's like just enjoying the everyday. Oh, I'm doing a video every day. I'm changing the number and it's going up every day. And it's just enjoy the process, because that's making you who you are every step that you're taking. So I know this was kind of a ramble, but that was one thing that I wanted to talk about was how, knowing where you're at emotionally makes you stronger and more powerful. A lot of people, I think it's weakness to talk about feelings or something. I don't know where we got that from. But again, that's from a childhood belief, most likely. So there's nothing wrong with learning about emotions and processing them, feeling them, all of those things, because it's going to make you more powerful manifester, which you already are, but you just don't believe it. So, but this is another step that you can take in order to kind of get your mental state more in order to where okay, this is how I'm feeling. This is the state I'm in. And this is what I'm creating from right now in this moment. And remember, you only have right now. You don't have to think about the past, the future. I can't reiterate this enough. The more present you are, and you're just saying, I'm in this process. This right now, this now that you're in with me is the whole point. You don't need to be anywhere else. You don't need to be doing anything different than what you're doing right now. You're in the perfect place at the perfect time, or you wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be here. And so if you just stay there and enjoy, the more you do that, that's where you're in flow, what they call flow state. You're just allowing things to come to you. You're not trying to force or control or worry or be panicked. It's like you're just allowing the flow to come to you, just like water flows. Just be like water. We've heard that phrase before, be like water. So really, it is so true. And there's so many amazing, famous dead people that I recommend we study, because success leaves clues, as they say. And so we've got to just learn these basic principles of this ancient wisdom that can help direct us today. And we can apply it to the modern world, because, our world is not like it was in the past, but there's probably things back then that we don't want to see today. So some things might be better today than they were before, and vice versa, but we just don't really know. But we've got to just study these successful people that knew what they were talking about as far as the universal laws go, and just start practicing them and see what works. So, and again, I'm not a guru. I don't know everything at all, and I really don't know anything. We could just say we don't know anything. We just have to try what works for us and see what happens, and then we just share with others and see if it works for them. So that's why I'm here, is just to share what works for me. And I will say nothing has worked better for me than letting go of all control and saying, what everybody thinks of me is none of my business. I don't need to keep, I have to respect what people say. I don't need to pry. I don't need to try to fix them. I don't need to try to change them. I don't even need to suggest things to them unless they ask me. It's like when you're a helper or caretaker or a people pleaser, you feel like you have to perform and you have to do all these things, and you don't have to do any of that stuff. If you just free yourself, take the burden off your shoulders and off your back, you will find that there's so much freedom there. So that's just one example. But I think we put ourselves into other people's business so much that we're doing that because we don't want to focus on our own self. So I really encourage you to continue to not touch your phone for an hour every morning. That is just so powerful. And watch what you're consuming every day because it's programming you every single day. So just watch all of that and be curious as to the things you're attracted to looking at and why. Sometimes we're attracted to looking at things because they make us feel alive when we might not be feeling alive in other areas in life. So it's all of this is great data. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just now you know more about yourself, so you can gather this data and come up with solutions that work for you. So yeah, I'll end this ramble. This was another Sam ramble. So I hope that you enjoyed some part of this. This is like channeled, I think, again. I don't even remember what I was talking about really. So I don't know. If it helped you at all, please share this with somebody else who might benefit from this information. And remember, you are so, so loved. And pass it on to somebody who you feel that might need to hear that. Might be yourself. Just look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. And remember to appreciate yourself because what you appreciate appreciates. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.